Welcome to the Archangel Michael on air show. I'm your host, Michael. Today we're going to be talking about a man from New Orleans by the name of Kermit. He went to purchase a vehicle in another state and took $30,000 of his hard-earned cash to buy this vehicle, but it wasn't exactly what he was looking for. To his surprise, going back home, the DEA confiscated his money. And we have a lot of government agencies that are thugs. That's what they are. You think you live in a free country, you better think again. You are taxed on everything that you do. How is that a free country? If you are given an inheritance by your family, the IRS will charge you 50%. Yes, that's right, 50%. So if you got $100,000 left to you, guess what? $50,000 belongs to the government. You buy a home. When you buy it scot-free and clear, you will have to continue paying taxes on that property. And let's say you're behind on those taxes and you end up passing away. And if your family can't afford to pay those taxes, it doesn't matter what amount it is, the government will confiscate it. Don't think you live in a free country. Things have changed even worse than what they were before. But we'll discuss all these things after this video.
When they seize my life savings, every penny that I've worked for, every honest dollar that I earned over the last 25, 30 years, it made me feel like I was the dirt on the ground.
Kermit Warren is a hardworking grandfather from New Orleans' lower 9th Ward. He's had lots of jobs. And for extra money, he also collects and sells scrap metal.
I worked at the Port of New Orleans as a longshoreman. I worked as a contractor for the Corps of Engineers. I worked at world-famous Central Grocery, and now I'm currently working at the Roosevelt Hotel as the Shine Man.
But now, the government is using civil forfeiture to try to take nearly $30,000 from Kermit without ever charging him with a crime. Kermit, like many of his neighbors, lost much in Hurricane Katrina.
After Hurricane Katrina, I lost everything in my home. My home was destroyed. Pictures, photos, appliances, cars.
Kermit, who is the head deacon of his church, helped rebuild his community and diligently set aside money with every paycheck.
I've always been a person who humbled myself and didn't go out and spend money unnecessarily. Once I paid my utilities, bought my groceries, I would save a couple $100 per week.
When COVID-19 hit, Kermit and his son Leo were laid off. Kermit decided to use his savings to turn his part-time metal scrapping job into a full-time business with Leo. To do that, he needed a bigger truck, and he thought he found one in Ohio.
Would you take a cash offer? He said, sure. I said, I'll offer you $30,000 cash. He said, sure. I told him I'll be on the next plane coming to Ohio.
Kermit and Leo flew to Ohio, planning to drive the truck back to New Orleans. But when they arrived, they saw the truck was too big for their needs. So they bought one-way tickets home.
The TSA lady asked me what was in the bag. I notified and told her that I had close to $30,000 cash money. Her supervisor told her that it was okay for me to travel with that amount of cash money. So they let me go through. I went and sat down to wait for my plane to come. 3 DEA agents came to me and asked me, could they speak with me? So he didn't want to hear the story about me showing him the truck. He didn't want me to call the guy who I was buying the truck from. He said, we're going to confiscate your money. He said, we think y'all are up here doing something illegal. I said, man, you're just robbing me for my money.
Civil forfeiture turns the presumption of innocence on its head. DEA doesn't have any evidence to charge Kermit with a crime, but they don't need to in order to keep his money forever. Unfortunately, civil forfeiture disproportionately affects racial minorities and the poor.
Since they seized my money, it's been very difficult for me to provide for my family and my children and to pay the necessary bills that I need to pay.
The Institute for Justice is fighting with Kermit to get his life savings back and to end civil forfeiture. If the government wants to permanently keep your property, it should have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you committed a crime. What happened to Kermit shouldn't happen to anyone in America.
It was my worst nightmare. I never knew my whole 58 years as a man in the United States that 3 DEA agents could take a man's money from him that he worked for and not had committed any kind of crime or was arrested for doing any type of wrongdoing. How could they just take my money from me?
Kermit was your average Joe, hard-working American all his life, no criminal record, law-abiding citizen, head deacon of his church. His crime? Wanting to buy a car to support him and his family. Amazing. You saw the story. So, 3 DEA agents, which I refer as thugs, go up to him, don't want to hear his story, don't want the factual evidence of phone transcripts or even talking to the potential seller of the car that they went to go, truck that they went to go see. They didn't want to hear any of that. All they wanted was his money. He wasn't even arrested. And the sad thing is, when they take your money under forfeiture, it's very hard to get it back. You have to jump through all these hoops, and they figure that you're not going to have money to hire an attorney, so, they keep your money. An attorney's not going to represent you for free. They're going to charge you. This is very saddening because these stories aren't told on the fake news media about the shakedowns that the FBI, Homeland Security, DEA, these are all agencies of the government. They don't work for you. They work for the government. They are legalized thugs, gang members that can shake you down, break into your house, do whatever they want legally. That's very unfortunate. And this is not a free country, as most people believe it to be. Even before COVID even came out, you're taxed on everything. Everything. And when you buy a car from the lot, brand new, you pay taxes on it. So guess what? You sell it and the next person has to pay taxes on it. Why? If taxes were already paid on it. And if that car is sold 10 times, you have to pay taxes on it. Plus registration. You can flat out own your car and you always have to pay to drive it. Just like a house. You can own the house and you will always have to pay taxes on it. Why? If you bought the land, you own the house. Why? They tax all food and they make their money otherwise. And what's this CRV? Where does that money go? Have you ever investigated who's in charge of the CRV? The government. It funnels through green supposedly companies, but ultimately it's the government who collects that money. Shakedown. You can buy a case of water that costs $2.40, or let's say $3. You're going to pay almost $3 in CRV. That case of water is almost costing you $6. It's ridiculous. You don't live in a free country. That's not what freedom is about. Now, you're even being censored. And freedom of speech. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for visiting the Archangel Michael on Air show. This Friday. We will see you next week, if Jesus permits. And I dedicate this show to Jesus Christ. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
Join me, your host, Archangel Michael, 5 days a week on the Archangel Michael on Air show, where you'll always get the truth 5 days a week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful and beautiful weekend.